Domestic violence is a form of bullying. And bullying has like insurmountable effects, right? Like people are committing suicide, it causes depression, oppression, mass violence. Some of the school shootings were due to that. And then if you're talking about in a school setting, kids' academics can suffer because of it. So, I guess a good place to start again is the different forms of bullying. Let's get that out of the way so we can really delve into the topic, JT. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. So can you identify the different types of bullying for us?
Well, we have verbal, social, and physical. And we see more so verbal in the school rather than physical and social. Mm-hmm. We see social too, but more so verbal, because a lot of the kids do it and they don't know that they're actually doing it. And so, like the teasing, the name calling, the taunting, the threats that the threats that can cause harm to one another, all that. So we see a lot of that, and then we see a lot of social bullying when it comes to social media. It more so happens. A lot of it happens at home, and the kids bring it to school. And so they may be buddy in the classroom, but somebody might have sent something on Snapchat or on Instagram, slid in the DMs and said something, said something shiesty to one another. And when you get to school, you're friends in the classroom, but in the hallway, it's like, what's up? And a lot of the kids don't know how to respond to it. A lot of the kids are afraid to report it, because especially like some of the guys, they're like, well, I ain't trying to be no snitch or anything like that. But in my role, I try to come at them and say, well, if it was on the other hand, they would have reported you. And so we have this. I'm not sure what the technology is called, but the little scan, little barcodes you can scan. So we have those posted all around the school. And if you are a victim of bullying, if you suspect somebody is bullying someone else, you can literally just pull up your phone, open up your camera, and put it over the barcode, and it'll direct you to this website, and you can report the bullying.
Nice.
Now, it's not used. It's not used as it's not used as much as it should be. So I spend a lot of times, especially like my boys, I was like, hey, I know this right here is going on. I saw this going on. I don't want to have to. I'm going to report it for myself. But I want you to learn how to take matters into your own hands and report it, and report that this right here is going on, because like when they say something to you, like we have the N-word slip up a lot every once in a while at the school, and it's not from an African American person, and whether I don't like it either way. I don't care. I'm black, and you still don't call me that. But a lot of the kids they accept it from their Caucasian friends, or someone of another race, and they're like, well, it's cool. They didn't.
Yeah,
the new stuff, Charles.
It is new. They'll say, well, they didn't say it with the ER on the end. I was like, I don't care. ERAUH. I don't care. Don't say it. And they don't understand. Like bullying is a form of oppression. That word is a form of oppression. Like let's not let that word fly freely. Today when y'all cool, but tomorrow you mad and he call you the N-word. We don't want to think that we don't want y'all to think that that's cool.
Hey, JT.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to Max earlier. I was talking to the kids earlier, and I think Max was present. But I was trying to explain to them, like, when bullying happens a lot with African American people.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand. Like, a lot of people don't think you're being bullied. If you see an older person getting out of the hallway because somebody who's non-black is coming down through there to get out the way, they shuffling to the side.
Right.
Mentally, they've been bullied.
Mentally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and when it comes to the music that we have now, the word, like you said, the N-word is used so much that a lot of times our kids, especially our boys who have no dad at home,
right?
Because I always blame mass incarceration. I gotta do that for Aaron since he ain't here. A lot of times that they make justification. Well, he didn't mean it, so he wasn't really calling me the ER one, because they don't want to feel like he put them in that type of place.
Right.
Nah, we cool. He wouldn't do that to me. Yeah, right. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad I came up in a generation when you heard it. Schwagat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's for the sound effects that Charles don't have.
So is the bullying experience, because kids don't have to these days have a reason to be a bully. Like, you just happen to be the one that crossed paths with people today, so guess what? You get it. And it really, in your line of work, requires you to be in tune with your kids, because like you said, not everyone is walking up to you and telling you what's going on. But the question is there a difference, or what are the differences between male bullying, young boy bullying, and then those that girls experience?
A lot of the boys, they get bullied because, like, they don't respond to, like, right now I work with a lot of 8th grade boys right now. I work with all ages, but like more the 8th grade guys, they gravitate to me more. So I got a little boys group, and they eat with me every day. And so, like, I sit within the boys group every day because, like, some guys don't respond to females the same way. Like, it's not like, where I don't like females, but I'm just not girl crazy right now. And so they were like, man, they'll say, well, you gay or this right here, or like, or what's wrong with you? And they don't understand. They be like, nah, man, just chill out. But they, and they don't know how to say, don't call me that. I ain't gay. I ain't gay. I'm just not, I'm just focused on something else right now.
I had that conversation with my boys this morning.
They say I'm just focused on something else right now. And so, don't call me that, but it's just something that they'll let fly. Yeah. They'll let fly, and it becomes like, okay, well, I'm accustomed to them calling me that. I know I'm not that. They know I'm not that. But when we're in the room, and they call me that, it just flies. And I spend a lot of time letting them know, hey, nip this in the bud right now, speaking your mind and saying, hey, don't call me that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
JT, you know what's worse than that? The kid that follows and says, you know what, I am gonna mess with girls just so they don't call me that, and then becomes a young dad at 13, 14.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's worse than that.
Yeah, many effects.
I got one that's actually acting like that right now. That actually acting like that right now, and doesn't have anybody at home to say don't do that, don't do this, or this is not the way to go about it. And me, I don't have any kids at all, and I'm young, and it puts me at I'm almost a school dad.
Man, come by my house, man. We got a whole house full of them. Which one you want?
I'm like the school dad, especially like for my boys. And so just like if something going on, if they do have moms and dads at home, sometimes it doesn't make it home, because they're, well, I'm about to stop by Mr. John's office right quick and say, Mr. John, this right here was what's going on. I don't feel comfortable with talking to my dad about this, or my dad isn't at home, or my mom isn't going to listen to me. What should I do? And it puts me at puts me in a position to where I got, like, well, what would I want somebody to tell me? What would I want somebody to tell me, or what I have wanted somebody to tell me? And so I feel like that's why one of the reasons why I'm in the role, because I'm kind of like being the guy that I didn't have growing up.
Okay.
And so and it just sometimes comes naturally.
Right.
So but as far as like the girls, when they respond, it's a lot of talk. What is it
called? Just kind of being petty and
very petty. And I'm telling you, they're good at it too.
Yeah. So how do you? Listen, we have to take a break, but we have to hear this.
yeah, we can't let that go. Yeah, I gotta hear this.
So listen, family, you're tuned into In My Humble Opinion. When we come back, more of JT Thompson. All right, take a break.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Family, we're back. IMHO, In My Humble Opinion, 101 Jams, and we're talking to John Thompson, the ESS worker out in the Greene County school system.
Get back to the petty.
He's talking to us about bullying, right?
So sat through the whole break to hear that petty.
So what does this really play out like when it comes to girls? And then what's your approach with that?
So, like, I can be a petty king too. So so I had to approach it professionally petty though. And so, like, the kids, like the females, they will be your best friend. They will be your best friend. It's almost like they will be your best friend and walk you into your own trap, like to watch your demise. And like a lot of the girls, they like to fight.
Mm-hmm.
They like to fight, and they
physical, verbal,
verbal. However they can get it.
Mm-hmm.
They like to fight, and they like to set it up, and like they set things up. Bathroom breaks. Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom at 10:13. Mm-hmm. You tell such and such to come to the bathroom at 10:12. I'm gonna, and I'm just gonna walk in there, and I'm gonna be surprised that she in there, and we go scrap. Mm-hmm. And and a lot of them think that we dumb. Mm-hmm. I was like, I was in the 8th grade before too. Like I know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I know what's going on, and so a lot of them, they say, well, I'm about to go to the bathroom. So just like they use their phone, because they use their phones freely now, which which just blows my mind. Mm-hmm. They use their phones freely now. So I text one of the teachers. I was like, okay, look, something about to go down in the girls' bathroom. Go in there, because they'll tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. John ain't gonna snitch. No, I ain't gonna snitch. But
and they also know you can't go in the girls'
right.
bathroom.
They know I can't go in the girls' bathroom, but they also know I'm not about to let my kids get in trouble. Mm-hmm. And so like they build up we have a healthy enough relationship to where they tell me how they feel, and they know, and if they know if I care, I'm gonna intervene. Mm-hmm. Whether I'm not there, whether it may not be me. I may get another teacher. I may get an administrator to go in the bathroom. Just kind of like the detour certain things. Mm-hmm. They may see me a little bit later, like, well, Mr. John, you blocking, man. And I was like, well, look, what happened. This is bullying right here. Mm-hmm. This is bullying, and I try my best not to make it seem like a sermon every time or a lecture. But I was like, y'all don't understand that these things right here, is the foundation of some of these school shootings, some of the some of these suicide attempts. Like I want y'all to understand that these little things things y'all are doing are not minute.
JT,
yes, sir.
What did I tell you about snitching when it came to my own son?
You said we got lawyers and we got doctors to raise. It ain't called snitching. I took that to heart too. Mm-hmm. I took that to heart when you said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you're right.
It's real. It's real. Yeah. I mean, that unfortunately, that's a big misconception even within our community.
Right.
People not knowing the difference, and some of our boys think that they really hardcore. Think they G'd up.
Right.
But they don't even understand what that snitching term is really referring to. I mean, you also have obligation to your family and your community. Right. But without digressing too much, I wanted to touch on the cyberbullying part, and and your knowledge and experience with that, because I know that it can happen for boys and girls. But since we're talking about the girls, there is where it tends to lean a little more. For instance, young boy, young girl like each other.
Right.
The girls, uses text or inbox to send some, let's say, inappropriate images. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, there's kids all around the school sharing it and floating it, and because it's partially the education piece of a lot of kids think that the Snapchat actually really deletes stuff.
Right.
And it never can be found again. They really think that, right?
Right.
So I'm just curious on some of your experience and knowledge of cyberbullying, and and how we can curb that.
It's how we can curb it. Take these phones. Like that's it's as simple as that. And as much as I like, to have my phone at work. If they say no phones, there ain't nothing we can do about that. But that would aid in a lot of things. Like in the classroom, a kid would say, "Well, I'm about to call my daddy," in the middle of the classroom because they arguing with a teacher, and go out in the hallway and call dad. And I was like, nah, it shouldn't flow like that. And I snatch a phone out the hand real quick and say, well, you want to call dad? We'll go call on my phone. We'll go call on my phone. But if we could take these phones, that would nip a lot of these things in the bud. I promise you, because social media, that's the root of a lot of this stuff. Because a lot of them ain't brave enough to go to each other's face and say, this is how I feel about you, or this was somebody said about you, so I'm gonna say this about you. It's gonna be
internet gangsters,
right? That's what it is.
Yeah, keyboard gangster.
IG, not Instagram, but internet gangster. You right?
Yeah, because Razor and I come from a time, back when a girl would tell you in the gym in your face that she don't want to be your girlfriend anymore.
Right?
She ain't hide behind the text. She embarrassed us publicly.
It made a man out you when you had to walk across with them little small shorts back on.
I'm the man I am today.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we could take these phones, man, because Snapchat, Snapchat is one of the roots of all evil in the school system right now. Because they will, like I say, they will be best friends. They will be best friends at school. But when they get home, somebody will send us picture, or somebody will send a text over Snapchat. That's pretty much dogging somebody. And tomorrow and the next day you're not best friends. You're not friends at all. You're not friends at all, and it leaves some of my colleagues to figure out, okay, like why aren't they talking to each other? And some of the friends, they don't know why. They don't understand why their best friends aren't talking to one another anymore. It's because somebody said something over the over Instagram or over Snapchat or sent something.
Hey Max,
Yeah.
You know what to fix this?
What's
If
that?
they start prosecuting the social media makers like they do parents, like if a parent leaves his gun out and the child shoots somebody, the parent gets prosecuted. If they start doing these social media outlets like this, it'll fix it.
Yeah,
It'll definitely fix it.
So I do want to get into what's the role of the administrators and the teachers in the case of bullying, but what is your advice to parents as well? I think that a parent would know whether or not their child shows some signs of being a bully. How do we kind of crack that shell when we're talking to our kids about whether or not they are being bullied, and then on the other hand, take corrective measures if my child is the bully?
Right.
That's a hard
Now, and then I guess oftentimes their bullying tendencies maybe start in the home. So then
they hide it though,
yeah.
Max. Like a person who is a bully is the same person. Like he takes control of victims. So that will be that same kid that does everything to the administrator. Say, oh, he's the model kid, or he's so nice to the parents. He's so polite. He's so. They really hide it. Like they will go to no extent to hide that demented thoughts that they have, so they can do it to somebody. Because they smart enough, especially at. He said he was over 8th grade boys. It's already, puberty's already hitting, so they face breaking out. They finding out that their body work a little differently than it did a year or two ago. It's a very difficult time for them.
Yeah, and then definitely remember as well, Max. You have some parents who think that their little Johnny does nothing wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
So whenever Mr. Thompson may contact the parent saying, hey, we have an issue. Parent, first thing they're gonna say is not my child. What did the other kid do? Totally ignoring those warning signs.
So what do you think, Mr. John? What's your advice in a situation like this?
Parental involvement. Ask your kids what's going on, pop up on them, pretty much being involved. Like pop up to the school, come to the cafeteria to see how they act, and you ain't got to tell them that you don't have to tell them that you're coming up there. We know whose mama you are, we know whose daddy you are. Come on up here because we want you to see them in the act. Whether in the act whether they're doing well or not behaving well.
Now, can you remove them from the school if they're acting up?
We're talking about what you talking about.
Like the child. Like say if you come in there, because I know I'm from a different time frame where if your parents showed up at school, it made everybody get good right off the bat.
Right.
But then if you still had the nerve to carry on like you didn't have no sense, they would escort you out for a while. But it seems like the rules are different now. The system doesn't let parents be parents anymore.
Right.
Like I want to stop my child from bullying these other 10 children, but in the process, you might show up at my house with social services and have me under some type of criteria.
Yeah, because truancy is an issue also. But if you want to pull them out for that minute, they'll probably let you. But if you want to pull them, no. After a while, they're gonna be sending somebody to the house, sending some letters home.
See, so it's a catch-22. What are you supposed to do? Because if I have a decent job and especially for these mothers that are taking care of whole households by themselves, if I pull my child out and social services comes, I can lose my job or I can lose my other children.
Right.
So it's a catch-22. And just being honestly, the first thing us African Americans say, man, them white people gonna show up at your door.
You right.
You know what I'm saying? And Mr. John is black, y'all. So I need y'all to understand that. Like we have African American administrators trying to help our children as well.
Sure.
I can speak from personal experience. My oldest, again, was bullied to no end in elementary school. And I remember talking to the administrators about this boy that was bullying her, and not just her. And the administrator told me, we can't do anything with him. Like, there was no answer to this person that was tormenting her day in and day out, which puts a parent in a very difficult situation and a child in an even worse one. So let's take another break. You're tuned into In My Humble Opinion on 101 Jams. Miss Max, Sir Charles, Razor, and our guest for this anti-bullying segment, JT. And we just had a caller phone in with a very terrible situation, I'd say. So here's how she explained it. Our caller's name is Lanika. She has a friend whose son was a bully. She found out through, I guess, reports from the school that he was being a bully, and she corrected him. She spanked him for doing it, okay? In turn, social service got involved because she spanked her child, right? They removed the child from the home. She lost her job. She lost her house. And she's actually incarcerated right now.
She lost her other children,
She lost her other children. She's been incarcerated since October of last year. And she does not have a court date. They keep pushing her court date back. So.
And then she said it was 3 or 4 instances that she had heard of since her friend.
So what does a person in that type of situation, like Mr. John, do? You're trying to stop your child from doing something that society is saying no to, and then you get penalized for doing that.
Well, partially, Mr. John, too, part of our issue now, and I know being an educator, mandatory reporter, those type of things, society also, frowns upon beating kids, too. Of course, when I say beating kids, respectfully, everybody knows I'm talking about disciplining, kids with the spanking, not overt physical abuse. People that come from our old school know the difference. So Mr. John, how do you handle that?
And that's first of all, it's very unfortunate. Right. And I wish I had I wish I knew exactly what to say. I wish I knew exactly what to say, but I don't, and that's unfortunate because, like you say, we try to redirect certain behaviors. We try to redirect certain behaviors, and when we do something like this happens, and that's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. I wish I had something else to say, but I don't.
Now, you did make an interesting comment when she was explaining what happened. You said that was partly due to her being a black person.
Yeah, because that's how it goes sometimes. Like, especially out here where I'm at, I see things handled differently. It's unfortunate because they come out there and a lot of times people see me and they ask me, are you when are you gonna finish school so you don't have to sub anymore? And I hate to be like ma'am or sir, you come holler at me in my office, because I work here every day. It's just I just hate that that is that approach, because even with some things with social services out there, stuff happens and I get tired of reporting the same thing over and over and over and over again. I was like, okay, well, first of all, sometimes these kids need to be removed from the house. Sometimes like they're in the homes and you see them they're getting beat. They're getting beat, or there's some type of verbal abuse in the home, and this kid is coming to school and they're all types of depressed. They can't focus, not because they have they might not even be diagnosed with ADHD or anything like that. They just they're just depressed because home life isn't going well, and I haven't slept in 3 days, so I'm gonna come to classroom and it's quieter in my classroom, so I need to put my head down.
In my humble opinion, the colorism of Child Protective Services is a real thing. This, if anybody listening may think, oh, there they go again, correlating things to color. It's real. As a matter of fact, we just had another listener inboxes just now speaking about on how they've experienced that, on how they've seen a black family get treated this way, which again seems like a systematic breaking up of the black family, as we see happens many times. But then they also know of white families in worse situations, but the parents keep getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
When the environment is unfit for their child, but they get benefit of the doubt, and we all know what the main difference is there. So thanks to both of those callers for listening.
JT, are there any warning signs, or can you give us the warning signs to know that our child is being a victim of bullying that parents can look for?
Is being a victim of bullying,
right?
Just a lot of changed behavior. So although I'm not a parent, but I see I have kids coming to the office that I have a relationship with all the time, and their behavior changes.
Okay.
And so some days they may come in the office and they might be all giddy and say what's going on, Mr. John? What's going on, Mr. John? How's your day been going? And I tell them it's all good. Today's Monday. I'm glad to see y'all. And they may say, and I say, well, how's your day going? They're like, it's all right. Could be better. And, it'd be like the could be better part is the part of them saying, well, hey, I'm going through something right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say what I'm going through, but this is gonna be my opportunity for you to this is gonna be my opportunity for you to say, hey, what's going on with you, man? So they might not say it straight up, but it might be today could be just a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Or like one of the kids like, well, I'm ready to go home. Today's just not a good day, and I know this kid loves coming to school. Mm-hmm. They may not have the best grades, but they love coming to school. Like send their friends, and all 7 blocks is the life to their day. Mm-hmm. So
okay, all right. So I guess one of the last questions that I probably have is just the role of the teachers and the administration to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing to handle this. What can parents expect them to be doing?
Documenting.
Okay.
Like when something's going on. Like if your child comes home from school and say, "Mama, such and such hit me today," or somebody said something to me today, and I reported it to the teacher. Mm-hmm. And if they say to report it to the teacher, you could expect some type of documentation. So like you want a paper trail of everything. Okay. You want a paper trail of everything, whether the teacher did it or whether the administration did it. Or sometimes they may even come to me. And I have, especially with the kids on my caseload, I document everything, mm-hmm. like books and books and books upon books for everything. I can tell you from 7:30 from the time I get to the school until sometimes 3 o'clock when I leave. I'm documenting everything that goes on. I don't care if the kid tripped over a shoestring. It's gonna be documented.
JJ, I got a question for you. All right, with what you've seen, I know the area that you do administration in. The black community is small.
Yes, sir.
Now, how does that correlate with the kids that you have? Is the kids that you have still, the African American kids, still a small number, or are they more of the kids that you have?
Can you rephrase it?
So if you have 10 kids mm-hmm. in your class, how many of them are African American as opposed to other races?
Well, Ben, I don't have a classroom.
I mean that come to see you.
Right. Okay,
out of 10 kids that come to see you, whatever your number is, how many of those kids are African American kids?
All of them.
Okay, now the area that you live in, I know personally because I live out there, the percentage of kids that are African American is like 23%.
Right.
So that very much matches the prison system.
Right.
Do anybody see the problem?
I do.
And for as far as my caseload, I have one African American kid. But now the kids that come to me on my own that I see every day, that aren't on my caseload, that I sometimes spend most of my time dealing with them because I'm the only relatable guy in the school. Mm-hmm. I'm the only relatable guy in the school.
What he's saying is mentorship.
Yeah.
Black men that are doing something in this community, get out there, grab 4 or 5 kids, do something with them. Mm-hmm. Now, I do have a problem with the ones that want to grab some kids that don't take care of your own kids.
Right.
Now, let me say that. Right. But honest to goodness, if you know somebody that's doing something in the community, however small it may look, not everybody's going to be able to grab somebody that's a political figure. You might just have somebody who's a hardworking person that goes fishing. You know what I'm saying? Grab some kids, take them fishing. You know, show them a different life. Take kids to, it doesn't have to be King's Dominion all the time. Take them to where you show them something. Yeah. You know, invite them over while you changing the oil on the car. Just do anything that shows mentorship.
Yeah. So, and Mr. John, let me ask you about why that is. Is that simply because kids are receiving too many referrals, and that's lopsided for the black kids, the ones that's being blamed and, and getting suspended, what have you? What I mean is over-discipline. That's the term I'm looking for. Is that our black kids being over-disciplined in your arena, or is it because of that mentoring part? Are they like, I need to talk to somebody, I'm going to go talk to Mr. John?
It's because of the mentoring part.
Okay.
One of my kids got put on a social probation, and with my job, we have certain goals for certain kids to meet, and if he's put on social probation, he can't meet that social goal. And so I created a boys group for them, and I went and handpicked like a good bit of, it was probably maybe 12 kids, somebody that he wouldn't normally talk to. So I want to switch up, get something out of his norm.
Sure.
So so he can meet that social goal and still be on social probation. So I just helped the lunch group in my office, and so he was put on social probation for maybe 10 weeks. And after the social probation lifted, he left. The boys didn't. They kept coming, and so this was like November 2016. And so, ever since then, the group of boys that I have in my office right now, they were in 7th grade at the time. They haven't eaten lunch in the cafeteria since November 2016. And so it's just a mentorship. It's just a mentorship, and sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes I don't want them to come to my office. Sometimes I want to chill. But then it's like, well, hey, They need me more. Sometimes they need me more than I need them.
Yeah,
and they don't understand. Sometimes Mr. John does need them too. Because a lot of the issues they come to me and talk to me about is a lot of things that I faced when I was younger and never really talked about it.
JT.
Yes, sir.
To whom much is given, much is required.
You're right. You're right.
All right, Mr. Thompson, John Thompson, we appreciate you. Thanks for being a guest on In My Humble Opinion. Hey,
thank y'all for having me.
You may be the difference. You may be the difference. We applaud you for all of your work with our youth, okay? Keep it up.
Thank y'all. Bless y'all.